Hey everyone, I'm Kelly Schneider and this is What's Up Peoria. Today I am live here at the Peoria Civic Center with Larry Bloomquist, who is going to explain, first of all, his very long and distinguished title. So Larry, tell us about your title here.
Well, I'm the owner, publisher of Breakthrough Magazine, which is the largest trade journal in taxidermy. And we promote and own the World Taxidermy and Fish Carving Championships. And we hold this show every 2 years. We were really impressed with the venue here in Peoria, and that's why we're at the Civic Center. So it's a show that we have produced in Europe twice, in Salzburg, Austria. We've been out on the West Coast to Reno, Nevada, and I have always tried to center the championships when we have one here in the United States in the Midwest area. And Illinois and Missouri have been two areas I've kind of focused on.
Well, I'm really glad to hear how impressed we've been with Peoria Civic Center. Not that we're surprised, but anyways, so we've got the show going on here this weekend, and I know there's a couple of exhibition halls that are going to be open for public viewing. So can you tell us about the admissions and the times that will be taking place?
Right. The area we're in right now, this is the area that we have all the entries that are competing for world titles. And we will give away 16 world championships. So this is going to be open on Friday afternoon and night from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And that's when we're having our award ceremony up in the upper ballroom here at the Civic Center. So we welcome the public. I think you're going to find that this exhibition is much different than you see in some of the natural history museums you go in, which are great, and I'm a big fan of natural history museums. But here you're going to see a variety of animals that you've probably never seen before. And natural history museums, they capture animals in a still state, put it in a natural habitat background. You're going to find that in taxidermy we're becoming working with it in a more artistic flair. The composition and design of the individual pieces. Also, the pieces you see here are comparable, if not better than most museums. You're seeing work from 22 different countries.
Oh, wow.
In all 50 states.
Okay.
So they come a long ways to compete.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Yes, I've seen some really very beautifully done pieces here, honestly. I mean, I know walking into a taxidermy show, you kind of think, well, what am I about to experience here? But the artistry that's done here has been very well done. And so somebody who doesn't really understand taxidermy then, can you kind of explain?
Well, taxidermy is what the word's about. Taxi meaning movement, dermy meaning skin. And one thing, people have always said, I'm going to get my animals stuffed. And we don't stuff anything, okay? Everything's mounted on mannequins that are made from rigid urethane. And the skin is preserved or tanned. The same type methods are used that they do for coats, okay? And the whole thing is that a taxidermist has to learn the methodology of putting all this back together and making it look natural and real.
Yes, so, yes. I have noticed that they, do look lifelike rather than awkwardly stuffed, as you mentioned. So, I mean, there's really no one.
We call it
exactly. So, okay, wonderful. Was there anything else you think you could share about this that people might like to know? Or?
Well, if there's any way, if we could maybe move and walk around a little bit.
Sure.
And we've got judging going on in the background.
Excellent.
And
okay,
this is actually some of the world title judging they're doing
Excellent.
right now.
Oh, wow.
The hall is closed during this judging period to allow them a little more freedom and movement to get into the stuff. But most of the taxidermy we get today is, especially in competition pieces, is elevated and put on pedestals.
Oh yes, I have seen that.
And this became popular back in the mid '80s, and for competition, it's a perfect way to present something in a 360-degree spear where you can come look at it and walk around it. And really, each one I'm looking at in this group over here, they're very artistically designed. There's a lot of composition there. But the judging actually goes more than anything for the accuracy of in replicating the proper anatomy of the animal and the finish work on it.
Okay, is that something maybe you can point out on this one that we're looking at here?
And this is an ibex, and I'm not sure if this is a Nubian ibex or a Russian ibex.
Okay.
You can look in this mouth work throughout here. You actually see saliva.
Yes.
So anything that's replicated has to be done accurately.
Okay.
And this is a very good, strong piece. This is a master division entry.
Wow.
The details around the eye and the finish work are very accurate. There's even areas in there we refer to as the nictitating membrane. And in competition work, even those are recreated.
Wow.
The septum and inside the nostril, the proper anatomy throughout the earbud area.
Oh, okay.
The ears are very thin, whereas in a lot of commercial taxidermy, they'll make them a little thicker where they're more hardy for movement.
Okay, yeah, in case people are.
Yeah.
Okay. This might sound like a silly question, but I'm going to ask it for us, Peoria. When it comes to things like the antlers, is that still attached to the skin when they put that on the mold, or is that separated and then put back?
Okay. That's great question.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why. And the first thing, when you said antlers, there's a difference between horn and antlers, okay? And this is just a little education I'm offering Peoria. So
This is for us, Peoria.
Antlers are on deer.
Okay.
Okay, and they are shed once a year.
Oh,
and
sure.
they regrow back.
Okay.
Horns
Even the big ones?
Oh yeah, even moose antlers.
Oh my gosh, they just fall off and then...
No, they fall off and they regrow that whole antler back.
Do they both fall off at the same time, or sometimes they walk around goofy looking?
They're hormonal changes within the animal itself causes them to begin to release the horns. Generally, in North America, it's in February and March.
Okay.
And their horns will start softening the pedicle that it sits on and releases it.
Okay.
Then maybe a month or month and a half later, they begin to sprout out new antlers, which is full of veins. And if you look at an antler over here real closely, you'll see actually where all the veins of blood went up into it to bring the nutrients to make it harden.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the difference in the horn, this is a horned animal. Cattle are horned animals.
Okay.
And their horns stay there for their entire life. And the skin tissue that grows up to the base of it, it's all actually connected at one time. Now, for taxidermy purposes, we do come in with a very sharp knife and have to separate the horn skin where it connects or combines with the natural skin.
Okay.
But horns just keep growing. When it's a young animal, they may be this long, and actually these are growth rings, yearly growth rings, so you can age a sheep or an animal like that.
Okay.
So, but they're permanent, and that's a misconception. A lot of people really don't recognize. In fact, most deer hunters say, I killed a big horned deer, you know, but he's shooting an animal with antlers, not horns.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, all right. So how many competitors do we have here at this show this weekend then?
I hadn't been given the final statistics and numbers, but we have about 500 total entries in the show.
Okay.
And as a general rule, most shows will have anywhere from 225 to 275 taxidermists entering that number of deer.
Okay.
And some of them will bring one piece, some of them bring 3 or 4 pieces.
All right.
So it varies.
Sure, sure. Well, obviously there is a lot of stuff to check out here. You would really be amazed when you see what there is here, as well as how well everything is done. It's absolutely beautifully done. So again, any other last minute things you think anybody would want to know before we?
You know,
you're a wealth of knowledge. This could go on.
Well, I've been doing taxidermy for over 50 years.
Okay.
And I was a commercial taxidermist for 35 years. And I had a big studio back in Louisiana, and we mounted thousands of animals over the years. But some of the common questions that I'll get, even from hunters, but a lot of times it may be the wife coming in with the hunter. And there are a lot of wives that hunt more than the husbands do nowadays, but it was a common thing for them to come in and say, how do you get all the feathers back in it? Okay, well, the feathers of birds grow on skin, and we remove the skin.
Okay.
And within the skin there are feather patterns. And so there's a lot of misconceptions, the same way with fish. And when we work on fish, people would say, why doesn't the meat in the fish stinks? Well, the meat's all out. We use the skin, and the skins are preserved. Some of them are tanned. Some of them go through different preservation methods.
Okay.
So if you have a properly mounted animal, bird, the bird, be it a fish, it shouldn't have any smell.
I should hope not.
None at all. And a lot of amateurs, when they first start in taxidermy, they may not properly flesh a skin or remove the meat and properly preserve it, and it'll get a little odor, okay? Well, that's the first indication that I've got to learn something of
Something new,
this process.
yeah.
And it's not an easy process.
It doesn't look like it.
It's pretty involved, and it may take an individual 10 years to really develop professional methods, techniques, and understand how to produce work like you see here.
Yeah, I imagine. So, well, thank you so much again for being with us today. Peoria, come on down this weekend. You've got some opportunities to come check out the show. You can obviously go online for more information about the tickets. And Larry, thank you so much. It was lovely to meet you.
You're very welcome. So thank you for being here.
Yes.
Thank you for asking me.
Of course.
You got it.
PeoriaLife.com